I'm quitting my job to get married, but my CEO girlfriend, Willow, thought I was pulling another one of those forced marriage stunts again. She even arranged her wedding with her so-called Prince Charming, on the same day and at the same hotel as mine. Yet just when she was waiting eagerly to watch me make a fool of myself, she saw a beautiful woman in a white wedding dress, holding a bouquet, walking toward me. Willow's face instantly turned pale, not only because I truly wasn't planning to marry her, but because the person I was marrying was the nightmare she feared most in her entire life. Chapter 1. Miss Sue, I agree to your marriage contract. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone before she spoke. Are you drunk? Drink some warm water and get some sleep. But I stubbornly pressed on. You're lying to me too. Anna, Sue replied firmly. Anna, keep my word. Since you agree, I'll return to the country next month and go get the marriage certificate with you. I hung up the phone in a daze. The trending news on my screen was especially glaring. A well-known young actor, Makoto, was suspected of having an affair with Maria, the CEO of Zebra Entertainment, and was caught red-handed at a hotel by Maria's husband. While the entire internet was scolding him, Makoto's #1 fangirl, Willow, immediately released a statement saying she and Makoto had long been in love. She even posted photos of them walking into the hotel hand in hand, and intimate photos taken inside the hotel room, forcefully disproving the caught cheating rumors. Facing the questioning netizens, Willow even live-streamed their engagement ceremony. Under a sky full of fireworks, in front of thousands of viewers, she and Makoto exchanged rings. Public opinion instantly reversed. The current top trending headline: Makoto gets engaged. Heiress of the Liu family succeeds after 10 years of chasing love. I let out a bitter laugh. 10 years of chasing love. Do they know that Willow Liu became my girlfriend 7 years ago? In my despair, I somehow ended up contacting Anna. She was the blind date my grandmother back home recently introduced me to. It was said that the old Madame Sue was an old acquaintance of my grandmother, and both families knew each other well. Even though I repeatedly refused, Anna still added my contact. The moment she spoke, she said she wanted to get the marriage certificate with me, just to deal with her family pressuring her to marry. She even sent me a marriage contract, promising a generous payment. I found it absurd and tossed it aside. Back then, I firmly believed that flash marriages were ridiculous, especially marrying someone with whom I had zero emotional foundation. But only after my heart was shattered completely did I realize, living life together as partners is the true reality of marriage. 10 years of devotion, 7 years of dating. In the end, it still became a joke. Now, I needed to escape from Willow, to forget this failed relationship, and she needed a husband in name only to appease her family urging her to marry. We found exactly what each of us needed. The next day, I submitted my leave request and said, President Liu, I truly am getting married. This is my marriage leave application. Please approve it. Willow Liu rubbed her temples, her tone icy. What? You're not playing your marriage-forcing act this year? George, haven't you made enough trouble? I told you, it's not a good time for us to get married. Do you really need to pressure me like this, using such tactics to force me to agree? Expressionless, I stared straight at Willow's delicate, pretty face. 10 years hadn't left many marks on her flawless features, but all my love had long since faded. This face could no longer stir any emotion in me. I spoke calmly. Propose. Didn't President Liu already take over the last proposal I painstakingly prepared? Remember to reimburse me for the setup cost. That was my hard-earned savings. And congratulations, President Liu. After all that waiting, you finally get to marry Mr. Ito. Willow froze, a flash of guilt crossing her face as she avoided my gaze. You already know. I laughed bitterly. It dominated the trending list all night. Did she think I was blind? Willow frowned and tried to explain. It's not what you think. I just didn't want Makoto to be destroyed by a scandal. It would ruin the career he worked so many years for. It's just crisis PR. Don't take it seriously. I smiled and asked, so, that engagement doesn't count? The promised wedding is cancelled? Or are you saying you two aren't planning to get an actual marriage certificate? Willow responded as if it were only natural. A show has to be convincing. Otherwise, how could we fool the fans? I told you, it's only temporary. You don't need to cling to something like this. And you definitely don't need to make a fuss or try to force me into marriage. Chapter 2. I shrugged and said, sorry, I'm not interested in wrecking someone else's marriage. And besides, I really am getting married now. President Liu, please sign. Willow's expression instantly darkened. George, are you incapable of understanding human language? What exactly are you doing? You know how important Makoto is to me. Yet you insist on forcing me to abandon him and let public opinion destroy him. How did I never realize before how vicious your mind is? I was so angry I actually laughed. A vicious mind. Was she sure she wasn't talking about herself? I'll state it again clearly, I'm not forcing you, and I sincerely congratulate you two on finally getting your happily ever after. If President Liu refuses to approve my marriage leave, I'll submit my resignation notice later. And just to be clear, it's a notice, not a request. Willow's face grew even uglier. She glared at me, then suddenly curled her lips into a mocking smile. Fine, marriage leave. Right. If you want to make trouble, then I'll play along to the end. Without even glancing at the form, she scribbled her signature flamboyantly and then instructed, Secretary Cruz, post the announcement on the company intranet. George has taken marriage leave, and 1 month later, everyone is welcome to attend his wedding. I raised an eyebrow and said, Thank you for your kindness, President Liu. After 10 years together, I knew Willow Liu's thoughts better than anyone. Just like last year's proposal, I had asked her for her opinion. She didn't object. But when I was full of excitement and invited all our friends and relatives to witness the proposal at Apple Restaurant, Willow turned off her phone and completely disappeared. We waited until late at night. Everyone left awkwardly, never seeing her show up. Later, she even admitted, Yes, I did it on purpose. I was actually at Apple Restaurant the whole time, watching him fall into despair and lose all dignity in front of everyone. If I don't give him a harsh lesson, he'll keep bothering me with this stupid marriage nonsense. Unfortunately for her, this time, Willow wouldn't get to watch me make a fool of myself. As expected, when I left the CEO's office and returned to the open office area, I was immediately greeted by mocking voices. George is getting married. That's so sudden. Why not introduce your bride to us? President Liu announces her wedding, and you announce yours too. If there's no bride at your ceremony, won't you become the biggest joke in City C? I checked the dates. Your wedding is scheduled the same day as President Liu's. Anyone who didn't know better would think you're marrying President Liu. Are you doing this on purpose to grab attention? They chattered incessantly, eyes full of ridicule. Willow never wanted to make our relationship public in the company. In everyone's eyes, I was just Willow's simp. My so-called wedding announcement now was nothing but a pathetic attempt to save face, no different from a performing clown. I had no interest in responding to these meaningless people. Lowering my head, I glanced at the message that popped up on my phone. 1 month is a bit rushed for a wedding. If you want to change the date or regret it, we can discuss again. It was from Anna, my fiancée. I took a deep breath and replied, No need. This timing is perfect. Anna quickly responded, All right, I'll finish my work abroad as soon as possible and return to discuss the wedding details with you in person. If you have any requests, feel free to tell me anytime. I'll fully respect your opinions. Unexpectedly, a faint sense of anticipation and longing for the wedding rose in my mind. But at that moment, Secretary Cruz hurried over. George, get ready. Makoto is about to arrive. President Liu specifically requested you to handle the preparations for her and Mr. Ito's wedding. Make sure Mr. Ito is satisfied. Chapter 3. I frowned. I'm the manager of the project department, not Willow Liu's personal assistant. Her private matters aren't my responsibility. Secretary Cruz shrank his neck and said, President Liu said you have experience preparing a wedding, and you know her preferences best. My fists tightened so hard my nails nearly pierced my palms. Was she trying to humiliate me again? Yes, I did once dream of marrying Willow. I knew all her preferences. I secretly prepared a dreamlike wedding, waiting to surprise her after the proposal succeeded. So she had known all along. Sorry, I really can't help. Even though I firmly refused, an hour later, I was still forced to accompany Makoto. Willow actually threatened to dismantle our entire department if I didn't comply. Not wanting my loyal subordinates to lose their jobs, and unwilling to watch a project we'd worked on for months fall apart, I had no choice but to grit my teeth and agree. Willow walked arm in arm with Makoto, looking every bit the loving couple. Inside the company, they were greeted with waves of admiration and praise. She gave me a playful, mocking look. Manager Wang, aren't you getting married too? Why don't you show us your wedding design and let us learn from it? I responded expressionlessly, Sorry, my wedding is fully handled by my fiancée. As for the design, I'm not aware of the details. Willow snorted coldly, still pretending. She casually snapped her fingers. The screens in the meeting room lit up, displaying a series of stunning images. My pupils contracted. My long-hidden wedding design was being exposed publicly. On the screen, the words were clear. Designer, George Wang. Wow, Mr. Wang's design is amazing. Every detail fits my aesthetic perfectly. Every step of the ceremony feels like stepping into a dream. Willow, don't you love it too? Makoto's face lit up with genuine excitement. He seemed extremely pleased. Willow gazed at him gently. Of course I love it. You know I like everything you like, including the wedding style you dreamed of when you were young. My face turned pale. I thought my heart couldn't hurt anymore. But upon learning this cruel truth, it twisted painfully again. So the wedding I meticulously designed was the exact wedding Makoto dreamed of. While I was planning a future with Willow, Willow had been imagining walking into the wedding hall with Makoto. Then Willow looked at me and said, "You won't be using this design anyway. Name your price, I'll buy it for Makoto." Before I could speak, Makoto opened his mouth too. "Mr. Wong, I know you prepared this for your own wedding, but I really love it. Are you one of my fans? How do you know my preferences so well? The flowers I like, my favorite colors, even the style of wedding attire I always loved." With every detail he mentioned, my face grew paler. Willow watched me leisurely, arrogance in her eyes, clearly waiting for me to collapse or lose control. After a long moment, I forced out a smile. "Since Mr. Ito likes it, we can settle it at market price. Would you prefer bank transfer or a check? Do you need me to draft a transaction contract?" Makoto Ito froze, looking surprised. Willow's smile froze as well. She asked me, "What did you just say?" I widened my eyes. "What? Is President Liu trying to free ride on my work?" Willow abruptly stood up, glaring daggers at me. "Fine, Makoto, let's go. This cheap wedding design doesn't deserve you. If someone wants to embarrass himself and make a fool of himself, let him." Chapter 4. I finally let out a small breath of relief. After returning to my desk, I immediately deleted the wedding design and emptied the recycle bin. I thought Willow would recognize my attitude and stop provoking me. But after getting off work and returning home, the moment I reached the door of my rental apartment, I saw all my luggage thrown outside. My clothes, bedding, none of it packed, were scattered all over the ground in a mess. From inside the room, I could faintly hear Willow's laughter. A surge of anger hit me. I knocked on the door for quite a while before Willow impatiently cracked it open and said, "Makoto is moving in. Take your stuff and get lost." I raised an eyebrow. "Did you forget? I'm the one renting this place." Willow smirked. "Oh, did I forget to tell you I bought this place long ago?" As she spoke, she pulled out the property deed and waved it in front of me. I was completely stunned. What? The Liu family's ancestral home was in the suburban villa district. Feeling sorry for Willow, who often worked overtime and had to commute long distances, I gritted my teeth and paid the expensive rent to lease this 3-bedroom apartment in the city center. I even secretly felt happy that the two of us finally had our own little love nest. But I never expected. Looking at the registration date on the deed, I saw it had been 5 years ago. Back then, Willow's career had just begun. Every night, she returned to the rental apartment utterly exhausted. I would prepare dinner early and run the bath for her. Willow hugged me tightly and emotionally said, "It's so good to have you. Coming back here is the only time I feel the warmth of home. When my career stabilizes, I'm going to buy this place and make it our marriage home." I teased her. A dignified heiress like Miss Liu can actually fancy a small place like this. Willow Liu replied seriously, "It's different. This place holds your love for me. It's the witness of our relationship." In that moment, everything felt absurd. I asked her, "So, for the past 5 years, you've been my landlord?" Well, of course, even though Willow was starting her business independently back then, as the Liu family heiress, how could she possibly lack money? But I still couldn't understand, what was she thinking? Watching me scrimp and save for 5 years while I kept paying expensive rent. Willow snorted, "So, can you move out of my house now?" At that moment, Makoto's voice sounded, "Willow, come help me. Is the water heater in the bathroom broken?" Willow responded and began turning to close the door. I grabbed her wrist and shouted, "Wait." Willow glanced back at me. "What else?" I took several deep breaths to steady myself before speaking. "First, this is a place I rented. I paid the rent. Second, even if you're in a rush to make room for Makoto, tonight Before I could finish, Willow sneered, "You're about to get married, and you still want to cling to my house. Does that seem appropriate? Didn't your fiancé prepare a new home for you? Of course, if you insist on staying, that's fine too. Makoto could use someone to look after him. Your cooking skills aren't bad." I inhaled deeply again, resisting the urge to throw my suitcase at her face, and continued, "No need. Please transfer my deposit and the penalty fee, landlord." Willow let out a mocking laugh. "So it's all about money in the end. Is this enough?" She casually pulled out a stack of cash, but just as I reached out to take it, she loosened her fingers, and the bills scattered all over the ground. Chapter 5. Thrown out of the apartment in the middle of the night, I wrapped my clothes tighter as the cold wind blew past. Once bitten by a snake, you fear the rope for 10 years. After finding a hotel to check into, I hesitated for a moment before sending Anna a message. "How are you planning the marital home? I can't afford to buy a place yet. We may need to rent something temporarily. If we rent, should we split the rent 50-50? Anna replied quickly, "You don't need to worry about that. I've already prepared everything." I took a deep breath. "In that case, I can only pay my half of the rent." Anna replied with a string of question marks. A long while later, a new message arrived. "Tomorrow I'll arrange someone to pick you up so you can move into the marital home early and help set things up." Another message followed immediately. You don't need to pay rent. I let out a bitter laugh. My relationship with Willow truly was a joke. Around dawn, a series of urgent calls came through. George, is that you? Your mind is truly vicious. Completely baffled, I said. Willow, have you lost your mind? Why are you calling to harass me at this hour instead of staying with your precious Makoto? I hung up irritably but couldn't fall back asleep. I glanced at the notification on my phone, and my eyes flew wide open in shock. Paparazzi had tracked down the rental apartment overnight and filmed a heavily made-up woman entering in the middle of the night. Now they were swarming outside the door. Soon, the phone rang again. No matter where you are, get back here immediately and clean up this mess you caused. I blinked before responding. Are you accusing me of calling the paparazzi? Willow sneered. Who else could it be? Don't make me repeat myself. Otherwise, deal with the consequences. I rolled my eyes and snapped. Lunatic. Hanging up again. I simply turned off my phone and went back to sleep. The next morning, I woke up late and rushed to the office. I immediately felt strange looks from my colleagues. Many were pointing at me and whispering. When I smiled and greeted them, wanting to ask what happened, they scattered instantly. Back at my desk, my subordinate Tony hurried over in a panic. Boss, something huge happened. How can you be so calm? He pulled out his phone and opened the local trending news. Crash. The water cup in my hand fell to the floor. A few co-workers who'd always disliked me gathered around, grinning and snickering. So, how does it feel to hook up with the boss of Zebra Entertainment? Manager Wang really has good luck with women. No wonder you always look down on us. You already climbed up the ladder early and skipped 20 years of struggle. Was that woman your fiancée? Aren't you afraid her husband will send someone to cripple you? I gripped my phone tightly, face dark, and growled. Willow. Local top news headline of the day. Senior executive of the Lu Group secretly meets Zebra Entertainment's CEO at night, suspected of interfering in Maria's marriage. Turns out the woman last night was Maria. No wonder the paparazzi swarmed in like sharks smelling blood. And to clear Makoto's scandal, Willow didn't hesitate to push me out as the scapegoat. She publicly posted the rental contract to prove I lived there. She even found someone with a similar build, wearing the same clothes, to impersonate me and flee in embarrassment from the paparazzi. Just as I was about to confront Willow, Secretary Cruz came over with a complicated expression. Manager Wang, please pack your things and leave the company. I stared at her coldly. What do you mean? Before Secretary Cruz could explain, someone else stepped in for her. What else could it mean? Our company has no room for a morally corrupt troublemaker like you. Chapter 6. Tony and the others immediately panicked. Secretary Cruz, this must be a misunderstanding. We all believe in our boss. He would never do something like this. I gritted my teeth and said, Secretary Cruz, others may not know the truth, but don't you know? How many times had Willow gotten drunk after business dinners? It was always Secretary Cruz who personally brought her back to me. No one knew better than her that that apartment had always been occupied by Willow and me. Secretary Cruz looked guilty and avoided my gaze. Manager Wang. I'm sorry. This is President Lu's decision. I stared at her for a long moment, then let it go and turned to head toward Willow's office. What are you doing? Stop right there. Security. Escort Manager Wang out of the building. The security guards rushed over aggressively, grabbed me violently, and forced me out. Even my belongings were thrown out with me, right at the company gate. The commotion drew a lot of attention. So he's the homewrecker. Well, he is handsome. No wonder Maria fell for him. I hate scumbags like this the most. Isn't he disgusting? He does something shameful and then tries to smear Makoto. He deserves to be fired. I wanted to explain myself, but no one cared to listen. Soon, a large group approached. Among them were Willow and Makoto, surrounded by people. Make way. I had just gotten up and was picking up my things when a bodyguard bumped into me hard. Losing my balance, my head slammed into the doorframe. Blood immediately gushed out. Willow, holding onto Makoto's arm, also saw it. Her expression changed slightly, and she instinctively reached out to support me. But Makoto quickly tightened his grip on her arm. Willow, there are so many reporters watching. The onlookers and reporters finally recognized me and began shouting. It's him, the homewrecker. He got fired. Serves him right. Why doesn't trash like him just disappear? If it weren't for him, Makoto wouldn't have been misunderstood. A slow smile returned to Willow's face as she casually said, Get him out of here. My Lu Group will never allow a morally bankrupt person to tarnish the company's reputation. I clenched my teeth hard. Willow, do you even realize how shameless you're being? This is already illegal. Since Willow wanted to drive me into a dead end, I no longer intended to show mercy. Covering my bleeding forehead with one hand, I pulled out my phone with the other to call the police. Willow's expression faltered for a moment, but soon she regained her composure, even curling her lips into a cold smile. Unjustified dismissal does violate labor laws, but firing someone as shameless as you, My conscience is clear. You want to make a scene. Isn't it all because you want money? As long as I can get rid of you, even if I have to double the compensation, I won't hesitate. She shot a look at the bodyguards, and they immediately stepped forward. Take him away. Start the compensation process and shut him up. Instantly, a chorus of praise erupted. President Liu is so magnanimous. A despicable man like him should have resigned on his own if he had any dignity. Ugh, shameless. I hurried to speak up. No, this is malicious slander. I've already called the police. But before I could finish, an emotional fan suddenly rushed forward. A cup of scalding hot milk tea splashed over my head, the burning liquid hitting my open wound. A sharp pain shot through me, and I cried out. Willow's eyelids twitched slightly, but she still waved her hand decisively. Take him away, now. Chapter 7. While being forcibly taken away by the bodyguards, I heard the reporters behind me praising Willow and asking gossip-filled questions. President Liu, will your wedding still be held as scheduled? Willow leaned tightly into Makoto's arms. Of course, I've waited 10 years just for this day. More than half an hour later, Willow finally arrived at the underground parking garage. She glanced at me, still restrained by bodyguards, and asked with concern, "How's your injury? I'll take you to the hospital right away." The car started moving, and Willow kept urging the driver to go faster. For a moment, I felt disoriented. It almost felt like we were back to how things used to be, back when even a tiny cut from cooking would make her panic with worry. But now, there's no need for the hospital. As long as President Liu lets me go, that's more than enough. Willow frowned and asked, still angry, "Do you know how much trouble you caused Makoto last night? You owe him this." What's wrong with suffering a little grievance? I was too tired to keep explaining. I didn't want to waste another word on her. Please let me leave, President Liu. Willow looked disappointed. Letting you go? Letting you go so you can call the police and make things worse? Don't move. I'm taking you to the hospital first. You'll stay there for a few days. As long as you stop causing trouble, I'll give you a generous compensation. I looked at her mockingly. Do you really think all I want is compensation? Willow impatiently frowned. I know, you want to get married, right? We've been together so many years. Why can't you trust me even a little? I will marry you, but not now. I couldn't help finding her words ridiculous. I asked again, then when? Willow sighed helplessly. You know Makoto is very important to me. I can't just ignore him. If you behave and wait until this storm is over, I'll give you an answer. I opened my mouth to say I didn't need her answer anymore, but Willow's phone suddenly rang. What? Makoto sprained his ankle. I'm coming right back. Turn the car around. Go back to the company. The driver glanced at my bleeding wound, hesitant. But Mr. Wong. Willow froze for a moment, then after a brief silence said, you can take a taxi to the hospital yourself. I'll come see you after I'm done. Before I could react, I was already pushed out of the car. Before leaving, Willow didn't forget to give one last warning. Think about your friends and family. Don't make this worse. A chill ran down my spine. I stood on the roadside for a long time, dazed. When a new message popped up on my phone, I heard what happened today. I'm sorry. I snapped back to reality. The rumors were spreading online this fast. I'm the one who should apologize. Even though everything online is fake, the public opinion might still bring trouble. I don't want to drag you into this. We can cancel our contract. A moment later, Anna replied. No need. I don't care. I'll help you clarify things. I panicked and replied quickly. No, there's no need. I can handle it myself. From what I knew, Anna mainly worked abroad. These rumors shouldn't affect her too much, but I didn't want her dragged in or targeted by Willow. About the marriage, are you sure you don't want to reconsider? Anna's reply was short and firm. I already sent the wedding invitations to all family and friends. Despair washed over me. For the first time, I regretted agreeing to a flash marriage. Suddenly, a soft voice sounded beside me. Are you Mr. George Wong? Miss Anna sent us to take you to the hospital. Chapter 8. When I was taken to the most high-end private hospital in City C and received attentive medical care, I still felt a little dazed. Did Anna send all of you? I asked the middle-aged man who brought me here once again. He nodded seriously. Miss Sue heard you were injured and specifically entrusted us to come take care of you. By the way, later we will also help you move. If you have any requests regarding the setup of the marital home, Mr. Wong, just let us know. I couldn't help feeling a trace of curiosity toward Anna. My marriage partner seemed far more capable than I had imagined. Meanwhile, Willow, as always, didn't care about anything involving me. Until I was discharged, she never showed up once. Fortunately, I no longer expected anything from her. It actually felt liberating. After leaving the hospital, I didn't rush to find a new job. Instead, I devoted all my energy to planning the wedding. Anna had mentioned wanting me to move into the marital home early. After some hesitation, I politely declined. To my relief, even though Anna was busy with work, She didn't dump everything on me. She didn't treat the wedding preparations like my solo responsibility. Instead, she enjoyed discussing every detail with me and respected my opinions greatly. About a week later, Willow suddenly seemed to remember my existence. "George, are you really that desperate to get married? Stop your forced marriage tricks. You're making Makoto feel very insecure." I was confused. What did Makoto's sense of security have to do with me? Out of curiosity, I looked online. It seemed Makoto had been exposed in several scandals recently, surrounded by negative news. No wonder Willow had disappeared completely these past few days. She was probably busy wiping his messes again, doing everything she could to calm the public opinion storm. As for Makoto, he clearly sensed danger and was constantly displaying his sweet romance online. I shook my head, muttered lunatic, and hung up. But a few minutes later, Willow called directly. I said enough is enough. Even if you prepare your wedding to perfection, I will never attend it. The only person I'm marrying that day is Makoto. Stop your pathetic tricks. Your jealousy is honestly terrifying. I forced myself to stay calm. I'll say it one last time. I am getting married, but the bride is definitely not you. Some people really need to stop thinking the world revolves around them. Willow let out a mocking laugh. You've been simping for me for 7 years. Who else would ever marry you besides me? If you behave, I don't mind giving you a graceful way out. But if you insist on making a spectacle of yourself, then go ahead, walk onto that wedding stage alone and become the biggest joke in the city. As if intentionally trying to disgust me, Willow deliberately changed her wedding venue to the hotel right next to mine. And despite all the online drama, she launched a massive promotional campaign. Now, throughout S-City, everyone praised Willow as a devoted wife, claiming her love for Makoto was deep and unwavering. To that, I had only one comment: she's insane. I continued preparing the wedding in an orderly manner, and my contact with Anna grew increasingly frequent. The day before the wedding, Willow sent another message. "Still refusing to cancel your wedding? You can still back out now." Along with it popped up local news showing Makoto and Willow's jaw-droppingly extravagant wedding photos. In the pictures, the two leaned sweetly against each other, overflowing with affection. I curled my lip. What a pity, my own fiancé was too busy to take wedding photos. The next second, a message from Anna arrived. "I've arrived. Looking forward to our wedding tomorrow." Chapter 9. A hint of joy rose in my eyes, and the heavy weight on my heart finally lifted completely. "I'm also looking forward to seeing you." Feeling reassured at last, I slept soundly through the night. The next morning, I took the wedding car and arrived at the Orange Hotel. Just as I stepped out of the car, I unexpectedly came face to face with Willow, in a wedding dress. "What are you doing here?" Willow seemed momentarily stunned when she saw me. Dressed in a custom-tailored suit, I carried a distinct, elegant charm, like a noble young master from an old prestigious family. For a brief moment, Willow felt unfamiliar with me. Only after someone reminded her did she snap out of it, frown, and say, "You don't think I fell for your reverse psychology and came here to marry you, do you? If you don't want to become the biggest joke in the city, cancel your wedding right now. I'll help you clean up the mess." I shook my head helplessly. "If you're here to attend the wedding, I can arrange a guest seat for you. But if you're here to cause trouble, then I'm afraid you're not welcome." I gestured, and the hotel's security staff quickly came over, but their expressions carried a trace of confusion. I explained, "My bride is not this woman." The security team immediately understood. "Oh, attempting to crash the wedding. Miss, please behave and do not disrupt the ceremony." Driven away awkwardly, Willow's face instantly turned dark. "George, you're really something. If you insist on making a fool of yourself, I want to see how you plan to hold your wedding without your bride showing up." She stormed off angrily and didn't forget to command, "Secretary Cruz, gather all the coworkers. We're going to attend George's wedding and watch the show." I chuckled and shook my head. "That trick again." I shouted back, "Secretary Cruz, don't forget the wedding gifts. I don't welcome anyone freeloading." Willow's face turned even darker. She returned to the neighboring hotel with a sour expression. Makoto came toward her with a cheerful smile. "Willow, where did you go? The wedding is starting soon. By the way, why are there fewer guests in the banquet hall?" Willow snorted. "They went to watch the spectacle." Makoto blinked. "Spectacle?" Willow's best friends exchanged mocking smiles. "Can you believe it? That George guy, his wedding is at the hotel right next door. Guess what his face will look like when no bride walks out?" Someone opened their phone and immediately saw that Secretary Cruz and the others were live streaming the event. Inside my wedding venue, everything seemed to be proceeding step by step. Has George completely lost it? Why doesn't he stop the ceremony? Does he seriously think Willow would leave Makoto for him? He's just a plaything. How could he compare to Makoto? This forced marriage act is only going to humiliate him. Willow's body trembled slightly. An unexplainable wave of unease surged in her chest. "Shut up. Forget it. Go stop the wedding. Don't let him keep embarrassing me." But before anyone could move, the wedding has started. On the live stream, even though the officiant had already called for the bride's entrance, the doors to the hall remained closed. I stood alone at the center of the stage, looking nervous, my face full of tension and anticipation. The co-workers doing the live stream couldn't hold back their laughter. George looks so pathetic. He thinks he's the male lead in a movie. At best he's the tragic side character about to be left at the altar. The jeers drifted into Willow's ears. Her best friends couldn't help but snicker, enjoying the spectacle like they were watching a clown. The corner of Willow's lips lifted slightly, followed by a cold scoff. Stubborn fool. In the end, I still have to clean up his mess. Hopefully this time, he'll finally understand reality. She was just about to stand up when the officiant spoke again. Now, everyone, let us warmly welcome the bride. At that moment, accompanied by the booming sound of celebratory fireworks, the doors opened. Chapter 10. In an instant, the entire hall fell silent. Under the gaze of all the guests, Anna, dressed in a pure white wedding gown, slowly appeared. Petals rained down inside the hall like a blessing. Holding her bouquet, Anna stepped onto the red carpet and walked toward me, one step at a time. The group secretary crews had brought froze almost simultaneously. None of them had ever imagined that I would marry another woman. And in front of the screen, Willow and her friends, who were waiting to laugh at me, were struck even harder. It's Anna. George is really getting married, and he's marrying her. At that moment, the smile on Willow's face vanished completely. Her eyes filled with disbelief. Her complexion turned pale, inch by inch. How is this possible? No, impossible. Absolutely impossible. The people around her, after recovering from shock, exchanged awkward glances and echoed weakly, "Right, this must be some kind of mistake. How could Anna possibly marry George? Actually, how could George ever be worthy of Anna? That bride must just look like her. Yes, must be makeup. Nowadays makeup can do miracles. A little resemblance is normal." But before they finished, the officiant's voice came through their phones unmistakably. "Mr. George Wong, do you take Miss Anna Su to be your wife, to love her and stay faithful to her, whether in wealth or poverty, health or sickness, and to walk beside her and support each other until the end of life?" My gaze was steady as I solemnly said, "I do." Within several meters around Willow, everything fell into dead silence. Even breathing became difficult. Everyone stared wide-eyed, completely stunned. Willow's face grew even paler. Her entire body trembled uncontrollably. She tried to stand but staggered, nearly collapsing. "Willow, what are you doing? Our wedding is about to start." Makoto panicked and reached for her, but Willow violently shoved him away, lifted her wedding dress, kicked off her heels, and sprinted out like someone possessed. At this moment, only one thought remained in her mind. George was her boyfriend, her fiancé. How could he, how dare he, marry someone else? Let alone that someone being Anna, the one person who had overshadowed her and made her feel inferior since childhood. Amid shocked gasps, Willow crashed into the entrance of the Heavenly Sun Hotel. Security reacted quickly and rushed forward to block her. "You again? So you are here to crash the wedding? Stop her, don't let her inside. Trying to steal the groom now. What were you doing earlier?" Desperate, Willow shouted at the top of her lungs. "George, get out here." Inside the hall, the ceremony had already concluded perfectly. Hearing the commotion outside, my heart tightened. I said, Sorry, this is my fault. I'll go drive her away." Anna glanced at me with a bright smile. "Willow is the one being irrational. What does that have to do with you? Besides, I haven't seen my niece in a long time." "I'll go with you." I froze completely. You said what?" She not only knew Willow, she called her niece. Anna's smile deepened. She winked at me playfully. "Sorry, I forgot to tell you earlier, but telling you now isn't too late." Before I could react, Anna already took my hand and walked me outside the hall. "All right, let her go." With Anna's command, the security guards immediately released Willow. Willow rushed forward and grabbed my hand. "Come with me." Her grip was so strong that I nearly stumbled. Just as I was about to yank my hand free, Anna fixed her gaze on Willow, smiling gently yet with a sharp undertone. "Let go. You're not allowed to be disrespectful to your elders." Willow clenched her teeth hard and locked eyes with Anna. "He's not." Anna's smile faded completely, her tone turning icy. "Don't make me repeat myself." Almost instantly, Willow's entire body shook. She lowered her head in fear and released me as if shocked by electricity. Chapter 11. I was stunned. Willow, the proud heiress of the Liu family, had always been fearless and domineering. Even in front of her own father, she remained rebellious and unrestrained. In the 10 years we'd been together, this was the first time I had ever seen Willow show fear in front of someone. Anna, however, seemed completely accustomed to it. With a confident, almost commanding air, she looped her arm through mine. "Call him uncle." Willow pressed her lips together, visibly resisting the title. Anna didn't repeat herself. Instead, she stared at Willow with a cool, indifferent gaze. Only a few seconds passed, but it felt like half a century. Eventually, Willow caved. Head lowered, she forced out a single strained word through clenched teeth. Uncle. Only then did Anna smile. Good girl. From now on, we're all family. Your elders from the Sue family are all inside. Go greet them. After saying that, she waved her hand casually. Immediately, someone close to Willow hurried over. Willow, you actually dared to attend your aunt's wedding. You've really grown up. Your courage has grown too. I'm impressed. But what on earth are you wearing? Hurry and change, before you upset your aunt. Willow stammered weakly. I was at the hotel next door. Anna gave her a glance. Go in and greet your elders. Listen, if you behave, I'll overlook your nonsense. But don't make me slap you on my happiest day. Willow trembled again and was dragged away like a puppet on strings. The moment she entered the banquet hall, Willow's expression changed drastically. Dad, why are you here? Willow's father shot her a deep, cold look. Why wouldn't I be? It's your aunt's wedding. As her brother-in-law, no matter how busy I am, I must be here. What? Did you think I'd drop everything just to join your ridiculous spectacle next door? Willow turned pale, her lips trembling. So, you already knew. You knew George was going to marry her. Willow's father took a long breath. Didn't you already know? If I recall correctly, on the very next day after their engagement was set, George informed you. Willow's knees nearly buckled. She almost collapsed to the floor. Scenes from the past days flashed through her mind like a film reel. George asking for wedding leave. The wedding design she discarded like trash. His repeated clarifications. His dedicated wedding preparations. His refusal to communicate with her. So everything had signs. Everything had been telling her the truth. But what had she been thinking back then? Why did she refuse to believe him? Why didn't she see the signs earlier? If she had realized sooner, would things have been different? Willow's father patted her shoulder expressionlessly. What's done is done. Stop overthinking it. As for the mess you created, clean it up immediately. You know your aunt's methods better than anyone. Willow gritted her teeth, unwilling. I'm already an adult. Unfortunately, she received only a disdainful snort from her father. On the other side of the hall, I was filled with confusion but could only follow Anna as she greeted relatives and guests. Since Anna had just flown back from overseas the night before and was exhausted, the toasting process was skipped. Instead, the Sue elders happily handed me red envelopes and urged us to return home early, especially Anna's grandmother, who was smiling so broadly her eyes were nearly gone. George, when you get the chance, bring Anna back to your hometown for a proper banquet. Let your grandmother enjoy the celebration too. You two must live well together, and if Anna ever bullies you, tell Grandma, I'll deal with her myself. Other relatives also teased warmly. Anna treats George like a treasure. How could she bear to bully him? I thought Anna would never marry in this lifetime, but turns out she just never met someone who touched her heart. My confusion only deepened. It wasn't until we got into the car that I finally couldn't hold back anymore. Miss Sue, I think I need an explanation. Chapter 12. Anna turned her head and replied with complete seriousness. Starting today, we're husband and wife. No need to be so formal, just call me Anna. I'm a few years older than you, so I'll call you George. How's that? With Anna looking at me like that, especially with the close proximity between us, to the point I could feel her breath on my skin, my face suddenly grew warm, and I didn't dare meet her gaze. Well, whatever makes you happy. What I want to ask is, you. Anna suddenly laughed softly. You want to ask why I chose to marry you, right? I nodded solemnly. Yes. At first, I didn't know Anna's background at all. All I knew was that she was a few years older, had been working abroad for years, and was a strong, career-focused woman, and her family kept pressuring her to settle down. She needed someone to marry, even if it was a contractual marriage, just to shut her parents and relatives up, so she could focus on her work without any distractions or worries. I, on the other hand, needed a way out of my failed relationship. And I didn't want my elderly grandmother to worry about me anymore, since the elders of both families were old friends and knew each other well. The arrangement seemed natural. We both got what we needed. That's how this marriage came to be. But I never expected Anna to turn out to be Willow's aunt, though I had never met her before. I had long heard that Willow had a lifelong rival she despised deeply. Since childhood, Willow had lived in her shadow, outshone in everything. It wasn't until 7 years ago, when Anna shifted her career overseas, that Willow finally felt like a heavy shackle had been lifted. Only then did her life and career begin to flourish, allowing her to grow from the Liu family's pampered daughter into the President Liu she was today. With this connection in mind, I couldn't help feeling confused. With Anna's credentials, personality, and powerful family background, she could have any man she wanted. Why choose me? I didn't believe she would decide something as important as marriage, just because Grandma Sue introduced us. Was she trying to humiliate Willow on purpose? Faced with my question, Anna fell silent for a moment. Then she smiled again. Why not? You've always been outstanding since you were young. You're kind-hearted and incredibly filial. On top of having excellent character, your looks and physique match my aesthetics perfectly. What reason would I not have to choose you? I froze. I truly didn't expect Anna to say something like that. She was telling me, clearly and confidently, "You're great, you deserve it." Before I could respond, Anna countered with her own question. And why did you agree to marry me? Don't tell me it was for that payment in the contract. If I remember correctly, the first time I mentioned it, you nearly cursed me out for that. I gave an awkward smile. Well, back then as I tried to explain myself, embarrassment rising. I also fell into deep thought. Why did I agree to marry Anna? Was it to get back at Willow? No, she wasn't worth it. Was it because my grandmother kept reminding me to settle down? She'd been doing that for years, a little more pressure wouldn't have made a difference. Or was it because I was getting older and genuinely wanted a home? I can't explain it. Anna suddenly took my hand. Maybe this is fate. Why overthink it? Chapter 13. I instinctively tried to pull my hand back, but Anna's grip tightened. It was as if once she let go, I might disappear. Anna spoke softly, reassuringly. Maybe you still have doubts about me, but we have a lifetime to understand each other. Once you truly know me, I promise, you will not be disappointed. Looking into Anna's sincere eyes, I felt an inexplicable sense of calm. The guard in my heart loosened. I let out a long breath. All right, then let's start by getting to know each other. That same night, Willow was drinking alone in a bar, drowning herself as if the alcohol could erase every worry. By the time Makoto arrived, she was already drunk out of her mind. She waved an empty bottle wildly at the terrified customers around her and shouted, "You're laughing at me too? Laughing that I can't even keep my own boyfriend? What do you idiots know? George would never leave me. He's just throwing a tantrum, playing hard to get. He's using Anna, that psycho, to scare me. As long as I crook my finger, he'll come back to me." Makoto's eyes darkened. He rushed forward and wrapped his arms around her tightly. "Willow, stop drinking. Come home with me." "Okay, I'll take you home." But Willow shoved him away violently. "Home? What home? Get away from me. What do you think you are? How dare you touch me?" Makoto's expression grew more and more stormy. Willow disappearing in the middle of the wedding had already made him the laughingstock of the city. Even though his PR team quickly announced that the ceremony was postponed due to special circumstances, the internet was filled with mockery and disbelief. And with Willow like this, would she really still marry him? "Willow, did you forget? I'm Makoto. We're getting married. Let me take you home." Willow turned her glazed eyes toward him. "Married? Yes, we're getting married. Today is my wedding day." Makoto breathed a sigh of relief, but Willow suddenly laughed hysterically. George's wedding design was beautiful. His suit was so handsome. It matched my wedding gown perfectly. "Yes, we're married. I'm going home." Makoto froze. He rushed to grab her, but she had already stumbled out of the bar. "Going home. I'm going home. George is waiting for me at home." Outside the bar, Secretary Cruz looked miserable. She had seen this scene countless times. Whenever Willow got drunk after social events, she refused to return to the cold Liu family villa. To her, the only place that felt like home was that rental apartment. There was always someone waiting for her there, always a light left on for her. But that person was now married, and the bride wasn't her. No matter how troubled Secretary Cruz was, Willow issued a strict order. In her drunken madness, only George could calm her. Makoto's tone was icy. "Secretary Cruz, you're really taking her to George?" Cruz frowned. "What else can I do?" If they didn't find a way to calm Willow down, she would be on tomorrow's headlines, her reputation ruined, and the company's stock price plummeting. Suppressing his jealousy and resentment, Makoto had no choice but to follow. At the Su family villa, the Su estate was right next to the Liu family's. I couldn't help finding it ironic. We had known each other for 10 years, dated for 7. Yet this was the first time I learned Willow's actual home address. Thinking back, maybe Willow never intended to marry me. That was why she always had excuses, always refusing to take me home. Anna stepped out of the bathroom, wrapped in a bathrobe, tilting her head as she dried her hair. "What's wrong? What are you looking at?" I stood up abruptly. "No, nothing." Through the window, Anna cast a glance at the Liu villa not far away. "You're worried she'll show up here? Your worry is meaningless." Chapter 14. I thought about it for a moment. Willow really did come back very rarely. And with the awkward relationship we had now, she might actually try to avoid me. I didn't expect Anna's next sentence to leave me completely speechless. "You're Willow's uncle-in-law now. You'll have plenty of chances to see each other in the future, so just get used to it." The corner of my mouth twitched. You're surprisingly good at comforting people. Anna couldn't hold back a laugh. All right. I was just teasing you. It's late. Aren't you going to take a shower? For a moment, I felt even more awkward. A shower? Before Anna came back, the villa had been carefully arranged and cleaned, but the only embarrassing thing was, there wasn't a separate bedroom for me. Was I really supposed to sleep in the same room as Anna? Wasn't this progressing way too fast? But then again, we were already married now. Just as I was stammering, trying to figure out how to respond to Anna, a burst of noise from outside reached my ears. Instantly, I felt like I'd been granted a pardon. What's going on outside? I'll go take a look. Downstairs, outside the villa's main entrance, Willow was shouting loudly, banging heavily on the door. George, open up, I'm back. When the door opened, the first person to appear wasn't George, it was Anna, her face cold as ice. Haven't I warned you that drinking causes trouble? No excessive drinking. Just a second ago, Willow had been drunk and woozy, her body jolted, and she instantly sobered up halfway. Someone take her to sober up. Willow's expression turned to panic. No, don't. But the Sue family servants had already grabbed her, dragging her toward the pool in the courtyard. Splash. Willow was thrown straight into the pool, water splashing everywhere. Secretary Cruz and Makoto were both stunned. President Sue, this. Anna's smile returned. No worries. Let her calm down first. If there's nothing else, you can all leave. Makoto's gaze fell on George, whose expression was equally shocked. The hatred in Makoto's eyes practically overflowed. He had worked so hard just to get Willow to agree to marry him. But because of George, the entire wedding had turned into a complete joke. The plan to reverse public opinion and clean up his image had completely failed. Instead, it triggered massive online ridicule. Why did George get to marry someone as outstanding as Anna so smoothly? What made him better than Makoto? Mr. Wong, Willow is heartbroken because of you. She drank to drown her sorrows, but she called you so many times. Why didn't you answer? You two have feelings that go back years. Can you really bear to ignore her like that? Aren't you afraid something might happen to her? My expression changed. Makoto was truly vicious. He clearly knew I was already married, yet he deliberately brought up my past with Willow right in front of Anna. Before I could respond, Anna spoke first. Who gave you the right to speak? What identity are you using to question my husband? Makoto was intimidated by Anna's aura and stammered. President Sue, Willow and I. Anna Sue waved her hand dismissively. Whatever your relationship is, I'm not interested. Get lost. And next time before you open your mouth, think carefully about your own status. Makoto panicked. Gritting his teeth, he blurted out. President Sue probably still doesn't know, right? 7 years ago, George and Willow were already together. He even swore he would never marry anyone but her. Yet now, before he could finish, bang. I couldn't hold back anymore and punched him. Makoto was stunned, rolling on the ground in a pathetic heap. You dare hit me. I glared at him coldly. Your mouth stinks too much. It was suffocating me. Chapter 15. Ever since he became a celebrity and had Willow, a rich but naive sponsor, backing him up, when had Makoto ever suffered such a loss? He roared angrily and was about to rush at me. Anna's cold voice drifted through the air. Looks like all the scandals these days still haven't taught you a lesson. If you want to be completely blacklisted, go ahead and try laying a hand on him. Makoto, who had already charged up to me, froze in place. It's you. Anna's tone was calm. George is my husband. He's not someone any random nobody can bully. I was equally stunned. After I threw that punch earlier, I'd been carefully watching Anna's reaction. I hadn't expected her not to be displeased at all. In fact, there was even a faint hint of approval in her eyes. But what surprised me even more, it turned out that all the scandals and negative news surrounding Makoto these days were also because of Anna. Thinking back, things suddenly made sense. That time he was caught by paparazzi. Anna blinked at me, signaling me not to say more. At that moment, the servants pulled Willow out of the pool, completely drenched. She was fully sober now and said stiffly, Auntie. Anna had no patience for her nonsense. Willow, you're not a child anymore. The moment you became an adult, I promised not to discipline you too strictly, but your behavior has truly disappointed me. Go back and reflect on yourself. If something like this happens again, don't blame me for not saving you any face. Willow, whose face was already pale, shrank back even more. Since Anna and Willow had this kind of relationship, I didn't need to avoid anything anymore. I might as well make things clear right in front of Anna. Willow, I've told you countless times, it's long over between us. I never had any intention of stopping you from marrying anyone. In the past, I was blind and misjudged a person. I've already paid the price. That stain on my life is something I don't want to mention again. But since you now call me uncle-in-law, we'll inevitably meet again in the future. I hope from now on, whenever you see me, You'll at least show the basic respect one should have toward an elder. Willow opened her mouth, instinctively wanting to argue. Blind and misjudged a person. The biggest stain on his life. But when she lifted her head, she met Anna's icy gaze. Did you understand what your uncle-in-law just said? Willow gritted her teeth and lowered her head again. I understand. Anna looped her arm through mine and turned away. Good. Then get lost quickly and stop disturbing me and your uncle-in-law's rest. As Willow and her group left in embarrassment, the villa became quiet again. Anna urged. It's really late. Go shower and sleep. But I wasn't thinking about that. I looked at Anna seriously. The time Makoto was cornered by paparazzi at my rental place, that was also your doing. A few minutes ago she was intimidating and powerful. But now Anna suddenly looked a bit guilty. Well, I just wanted to vent your frustration for you. I didn't expect Willow to act so outrageously. As she spoke, she reached out and gently brushed her fingers over the scar at my temple. The wound had long healed, but the mark remained clearly. I trembled slightly and pulled back a little. No, that's not your fault. You meant well. What I want to ask is, if you already knew about my past with Willow, then why did you? Before I could finish, Anna placed a finger on my lips. You are my husband now, and tonight is our wedding night. Talking about another woman, don't you think that's a bit of a mood killer? Chapter 16. I stubbornly shook my head and gave a bitter smile. If I don't clarify this, I don't think I'll be able to sleep tonight. When we came back from the hotel today, I had already suspected it. Anna was such an outstanding woman. Was there another reason she chose me? Like deliberately humiliating Willow? But at that time, Anna's sincerity made me set my concerns aside. Yet what just happened reminded me. Anna didn't just know that I once liked Willow. She clearly knew every detail of my past entanglements with her. Could she really have no hard feelings in her heart? And if she did have those feelings, yet still chose to marry me, was there truly no other motive behind her decision? I didn't mind being in a respectful, mutually understanding marriage of convenience with Anna, simply living together as partners. But that didn't mean I was willing to be dragged into some kind of scheme, or a messy tangle of grudges and emotions. Seeing my attitude, Anna's expression also became more serious. Just as you said earlier, things between you and Willow are over. The fact that you were willing to be honest just now proves you have no lingering attachment and no guilt about that relationship. That failed relationship wasn't your fault. The ones at fault were Willow and me. My furrowed brows didn't relax at all. I said, even if that's the case, wait, what did you just say? In the relationship between Willow and me, what did you do wrong? Anna's eyes were complicated, tinged with regret and guilt. If I told you that I already liked you 10 years ago, would you believe it? The words struck me like thunder. I froze completely and stammered. No, 10 years ago, but I didn't even know you. Anna showed a bitter smile. That's exactly why I didn't want to explain. Yes, you don't remember me at all. Even if I told you, how could I make you believe that my feelings were genuine? It's my fault. I was too cowardly back then, unable to face my emotions. That's why I missed you for so many years. Seeing that I insisted on getting to the bottom of it, Anna let out a deep sigh. The root of everything has to do with Willow. From Anna's mouth, I heard a version of the past completely different from what I'd been told before. In Willow's past descriptions, her aunt was practically the embodiment of a demon. Because she was a few years older, she supposedly used every method to bully her since childhood. But on one hand, Anna was her elder. On the other hand, Anna really was outstanding, favored by the family, including Willow's late mother. Since she was young, Willow had lived under Anna's shadow, feeling constantly suppressed and belittled. Back then, I even felt especially sorry for Willow, and because of that, I also formed a bad impression of this aunt I had never met. But Anna gave a helpless smile and said, Willow was spoiled rotten since she was little. She grew up arrogant and willful, thinking the world revolved around her. Especially after her mother passed away, her personality became even more extreme. Her father wanted to give up on her countless times. In the end, he came to me, begging me to help discipline her for her mother's sake. I was only a few years older, but from the bottom of my heart, I treated her like my own daughter. Instinctively, I asked, so, the things Willow told me back then were all lies? Anna's expression turned a bit strange. It's not exactly lying. Let's just say, she deliberately embellished things to suit her version of the story. Or perhaps, subconsciously, that was simply the truth she chose to believe. Chapter 17. Some parts of Willow's story weren't disputed. For example, Anna's excellence and strength. Willow grew up as the pampered heiress of the Liu family, the precious daughter of her parents. Whenever others praised Anna, she couldn't help comparing herself. But whether it was grades, piano skills, athletic talent, in every aspect, she was completely crushed. This only made her dislike Anna even more, believing Anna was intentionally stealing her spotlight. All of that is understandable. Who hasn't grown up with the fear of being compared to the perfect child from someone else's family? Her jealousy was normal, she was young and immature. The biggest issue was that she believed her mother favored me more, and that was something she could never accept. I thought for a moment. Your age gap with your sister was quite big. It's normal she took special care of you. Maybe she didn't notice how sensitive children can be, and things got misunderstood. Anna shook her head with a bitter smile. No, it wasn't a misunderstanding. My sister really did favor me more. Anything good. She let me choose first. She even gave me Willow's things without hesitation. Even though I refused every time and gave them back to Willow, Willow never accepted it. She always thought I was being fake. I fell silent, unsure what to say. Anna sighed. You must think my sister was foolish. In reality, she was just trying to make up for her guilt toward me. After all, when Willow was barely a year old, she was diagnosed with leukemia, and the only person who matched as a donor was me. My eyes widened in shock. How old were you then? Could you even undergo a bone marrow donation surgery at that age? Anna gave a wry smile. I almost lost my life, but Willow survived. But that also planted the seed for her future rebellion. At first, everyone thought Willow was acting out because she was young and didn't understand anything. No one took it too seriously. But after her mother died, the twisted and extreme parts of her personality exploded completely. From the way Anna described it, I could already imagine how troublesome Willow must have been. At barely 10 years old, fighting, drinking, drag racing, disappearing all night, hanging out with street punks every day. It was said that Makoto was one of the people she met during that phase, someone she saw as her white knight. Willow's father tried repeatedly to discipline her, but only provoked even more extreme rebellion. More than once, she threatened suicide, causing a huge public scene, accusing her father of trying to drive to death this poor motherless orphan. After pulling her out of the police station for the who knows how many time, Willow's father finally broke down and begged Anna for help. Anna sighed. Back then, I was too young. My methods were crude and harsh. I knew that although she resented me, deep down she feared me too. After making her yield by force, I dragged her back to school, personally supervised her studies every day, and pushed her to better herself. On the surface, she did transform. She became more disciplined, more outstanding, but her resentment and fear of me only grew stronger. I couldn't help saying, "You really went through a lot back then." At that sentence, Anna's eyes suddenly reddened. She didn't cry when mentioning her deceased sister. She didn't cry when recalling almost dying on the operating table at a young age. But one casual line of comfort from me moved her deeply. I panicked a little and said, why are you? Did I say something wrong? Chapter 18. I hurriedly grabbed some tissues and helped Anna wipe her tears. Anna took a deep breath, quickly regaining her composure. It's nothing. I'm just not used to this sudden concern. And I couldn't help thinking, if someone back then had understood my hardships the way you just did, maybe I wouldn't have. Because she had to personally supervise Willow's studies, Anna delayed her own education. Even though she was several years older, when she entered university, she was only 1 year ahead of Willow. Not only that, she gave up the top university in the country and chose a provincial university instead, just so she could stay closer to Willow and keep an eye on her. And it was at that provincial university that Anna first saw George. After secretly observing him for a long time, she gradually developed feelings. Do you remember? When you were chosen as the freshman representative and had to give a speech on stage, the senior student who helped you rewrite your script. I froze, my mind felt struck by lightning. A long-buried memory suddenly resurfaced. You were that senior. That's right, it was you. You had your hair tied in a ponytail back then. You smiled so brightly. I came from a small town. Even though I had good grades, I had never been on such a big stage. Being selected as the freshman representative for the opening ceremony made me so nervous that I was drenched in sweat and shaking uncontrollably. To make things worse, half an hour before I went on stage, my carefully prepared speech was accidentally soaked with water and the ink blurred completely. At the critical moment, a senior who was helping backstage comforted me patiently and quickly recopied my speech. While rewriting it, she refined and edited it, making it far better. Seeing how nervous I was, she set aside all other tasks and walked through the script with me several times, giving me encouragement. Only then did I manage to deliver a solid, confident speech. Anna's eyes softened with nostalgia. From that moment, I started paying attention to you. After learning more about you, I even tried to get closer, hoping to get to know you. But just then, Willow went to her first. She told Anna that she had fallen for George. At that time, Anna could already sense that Willow might simply want to snatch away someone she liked. Anna rejected her immediately. But Willow was flamboyant and willful. She kept inserting herself into George's world over and over, boldly expressing her affection. And then she used the family elders to pressure Anna. You're the elder. How could you compete with Willow over a man? Willow finally likes someone. Don't you want her to be happy? You know how tragic Willow's life is. She lost her mother so young, and she's finally turning her life around. The rest, I could already guess. Faced with Willow's passionate pursuit, I overlooked the presence of others, and when the two of us finally got together after many twists and turns, Anna chose to go abroad, far away. Until this time, it was also worth mentioning that the very first scandal Makoto was exposed for seemed to have been Willow's doing as well. My face turned a little pale as I asked. So from beginning to end, that relationship was nothing but a lie. The next morning, hungover Willow was awakened by Secretary Cruz's anxious voice. Her head was throbbing, and she snapped irritably, "What are you yelling for? Get out." Last night, she hadn't returned to the Liu family home. Instead, she told Secretary Cruz to send her back to the tiny apartment she once shared with George. It seemed that only here, surrounded by traces of George, could she finally fall asleep. In her dream just now, she was asleep in George's arms, so being shaken awake put her in an even worse mood. Secretary Cruz spoke urgently. "President Liu, something happened. Makoto is trying to commit suicide." Chapter 19. Willow jolted awake, sitting up abruptly. What happened? She rubbed her temples, trying to regain her clarity. Secretary Cruz looked troubled, but after taking a deep breath, he told her everything he knew. This morning, new scandals exploded online again. Someone uploaded the surveillance footage proving that the person kicked out that night and moved into this place wasn't George, but Makoto, and paparazzi also released evidence of Makoto having hotel meetups with Maria these past few days. Right now, everyone online is cursing Makoto. The relationship you two hyped up has completely become a joke. Even you have been. Willow's face stiffened in shock. What? How could this happen? I told someone to delete that surveillance footage. And Makoto and Maria's situation, didn't he tell me it was all a misunderstanding? Secretary Cruz gritted his teeth. Misunderstanding. The photos of him and Maria being caught in the act were posted online, censored, but unmistakable. Now Maria claims she was seduced, acted on impulse, and wants to repent and return to her family. Instantly, Willow's expression turned as black as the bottom of a burnt pot. So the scandal between Makoto and Maria had been real all along. Even while she was working desperately to clear his name, spending money to suppress trending topics, planning the wedding, flaunting their love everywhere, he was still sneaking around with Maria. Secretary Cruz didn't need to explain further. Willow could already imagine the internet mocking her like a fool. What have I done? She had thrown away George, her real love, for this worthless trash Makoto. President Liu, what should we do now? Secretary Cruz took out his phone. On the screen, a live broadcast was showing Makoto standing on a rooftop, threatening to jump. He stood at the edge, crying and claiming the world was too cruel, that all those so-called evidence online was fabricated slander. He insisted yesterday's postponed wedding was because of the rumors. Now he was forced to a dead end, and only death could prove his innocence. But the bullet comments were filled not with sympathy, but with mockery. TSK. The world is so dark, forcing him to butt into other people's relationships. I heard George was actually Willow's boyfriend, so Makoto's a repeat offender of stealing other people's partners. What kind of eyesight does Willow have? Dumping her longtime boyfriend for this loser, even kicking the guy out in the middle of the night. That's nothing. She even let Makoto smear her ex and had him kicked out of the company. I used to think she was just stupid for not seeing Makoto's true colors. Now she's both stupid and nasty. Willow turned pale, shaking her head wildly. No, it's not like that. I never meant to hurt George, never meant to lose him. Everything was a misunderstanding. But Secretary Cruz had no patience for her emotional nonsense. President Liu, what do we do? You need to make a decision. The police just called. They're asking you to come calm Makoto down. Willow's face grew dark, her eyes flashing coldly. If he wants to die, then let him. I don't have the time to listen to his nonsense. I'm going to find George right now. I'll apologize to him. I'll explain everything. He loved me so much, he'll definitely forgive me and come back to me. Secretary Cruz couldn't help reminding her. President Liu, did you forget what happened last night? George is now your uncle-in-law. Are you sure you want to go to the Su family mansion to find him? That one sentence splashed over Willow like a bucket of ice water, instantly sobering her up. Chapter 20. Willow's expression turned ugly. Yes, how could she forget? George was now her aunt's husband. Going to find George meant she had to face the aunt who'd always been her psychological shadow. But facing Anna, fear was no longer the dominant emotion. After all, she had grown up, successful in her career, holding real power, strong enough to fight back against Anna. Yet the moment she really stood before Anna, Willow would inevitably feel guilty, as if she were always one step beneath her. Back then, she had used the most despicable means to steal George from Anna's hands. But after enjoying the thrill of victory, forcing Anna to leave in regret, she never cherished George. And 7 years later, when she saw Anna again, Anna was wearing a wedding dress, preparing to marry someone else. Suddenly, A thought flashed through Willow's mind. Anna had been abroad for so many years. Why did she suddenly return this time, and why at this exact timing, just to marry George? Wait, with the Liu family's influence, we could have easily suppressed Makoto's scandals, but all along, someone was fighting against me from the shadows. At that moment, the live broadcast showed two familiar figures on screen, George and Anna. Yes, it's her. Willow clenched her teeth and shot to her feet. Take me there, immediately, right now. Secretary Cruz froze, but President Sue is also there. Willow shot him a single look, and he instantly shut his mouth and rushed off to prepare the car. The building Makoto chose for his suicidal stunt was the rooftop of the Liu Group headquarters. Right now, aside from police and rescue personnel, there were also Anna and me, brought here at Makoto's insistence. Originally, I didn't want to come at all. After all, the person who leaked Makoto's scandals was Anna herself. Before, I didn't want Anna to interfere because I didn't know how powerful she was. I was worried she might get dragged down. But now, if Anna wanted to clear my name, she could do whatever she wanted. But Makoto had the gall to morally blackmail me. I want to apologize to George. If he doesn't come, I'll jump right now. If he doesn't accept my apology, I won't die in peace even if I jump. Left with no choice, I agreed to the police's request and rushed over with Anna. When Makoto saw me, a flash of jealousy flickered in his eyes, but he quickly hid it. George, I'm sorry. I really didn't know what happened that night. I also didn't know you and Willow were ever together. If the rumors online caused any harm to you, I'm willing to apologize, but I never intended to slander you, nor did I ever mean to interfere in your relationship with Willow. All I ask is for your forgiveness. As he spoke, Makoto actually knelt, right on the dangerous rooftop edge. I felt a headache coming on. At a moment like this, no matter what I said, it would be wrong. Anna spoke before I could. So, Mr. Ito, you mean you knew nothing, that you're an innocent victim? Makoto Ito nodded repeatedly. He already knew the online storm was likely caused by Anna. Right now, the scandal with Maria wasn't the most urgent issue. What mattered most was removing George as a threat, so Anna would stop attacking him. As for whether Anna might turn her attention to Willow afterward, what did that have to do with him? Yes, that's right, I really didn't know. Before he could finish, Anna lifted her hand and pressed a small device. In the next second, President Sue probably still doesn't know. Right, 7 years ago, George and Willow were already together. He even swore he'd marry no one but her. But now, Makoto's own voice echoed loudly and clearly. His expression froze. Anna had recorded him last night. Mr. Ito, I suggest you reorganize your story. Chapter 21. Makoto's expression was utterly priceless. He never expected that the pitiful crying act that always worked on Willow would be completely useless on Anna. Not only did Anna not believe his sob story, she had even come prepared with a recording. This. I only found out later. Anna shook her head. That's not the answer I want. I want the truth. Makoto's face flushed red as he tried his old trick again, covering his face and crying dramatically. Why is everyone forcing me? Do you all want me dead before this is over? I really didn't know anything. What did I do wrong? I'm also a victim. As he spoke, he swayed dangerously, as if he would fall from the rooftop at any moment. Even though the rescue team had set up safety cushions below, falling from such a height still held enormous risk. The lead officer looked anxious. Miss Sue, could you please stop provoking him? If something happens. Anna shook her head and let out a cold laugh. There won't be an if. He cherishes his life too much to die. Makoto, do you know what's truly the worst thing for a celebrity? It's not public disgrace, nor even being blacklisted. What's truly terrifying is when all your signed movie contracts, endorsements, variety shows, all terminate at once and demand compensation. Those astronomical liquidated damages are what actually break a person. At that, Anna paused. Makoto stopped acting and began listening closely. Of course, that was what he feared most. Did his reputation matter to him? Someone like him would never harm himself over public opinion. But astronomical compensation fees, those could destroy him completely. Anna curled her lips slightly and continued. Unfortunately for you, the endorsements and contracts you signed were all secured through the Liu family's connections. And as Willow Liu's aunt, I can easily tell them to pursue full compensation, or tell them to drop it. Even Willow wouldn't dare go against my decision. Makoto's expression twisted again and again. He knew Anna absolutely meant what she said, and he had already seen with his own eyes how terrified Willow always was in front of Anna, like a mouse seeing a cat. I'll talk. I'll say everything, actually. I knew from the very beginning. Just as Makoto gritted his teeth and was about to reveal the truth, the rooftop door was suddenly flung open. Shut up, Makoto. If you dare say another word, don't blame me for destroying you. I lifted you up, and I can just as easily throw you into the abyss where you'll never rise again. Anna turned her head and glanced at Willow. her tone indifferent. Willow, looks like you've grown bold. Willow clenched her jaw. Anna, whatever happened between me and Makoto, I'll handle it myself. I don't need an outsider interfering. Anna shook her head. This concerns my husband. I'm definitely intervening. Are you sure you want to go against me? Willow panicked. She hadn't expected things to implode so badly overnight. Even more unexpected, Makoto had betrayed her. Seeing that she couldn't stop Makoto from talking, she quickly turned her eyes toward me. George, listen to me. This was all Anna's conspiracy. She got close to you on purpose. She has ulterior motives. She only wants to use you to humiliate me. And don't you know, the scandals about Makoto are all her doing. I was forced into a fake marriage just to fix the public backlash. I frowned, cutting Willow off, already growing impatient. I know all of that. So, what exactly are you trying to say? Chapter 22. With just one sentence from me, Willow's next words got stuck in her throat. Her voice trembled as she asked, You know everything. I nodded. What I know is probably more than what you expected. Last night should have been a blissful newlywed night worth 1,000 gold. Instead, the two of us opened our hearts and talked all night. Anna also told me frankly that she indeed used some means to make me see Willow's true colors. Willow opened her mouth but couldn't utter a single word. George already knows. Then why did he? Is everything truly beyond saving now? I took a deep breath before saying, let's set aside whether Anna was right or wrong to report Makoto's unethical behavior. But tell me, did she force you to choose a fake marriage with Makoto? Or did she force you to treat me like I was nothing, and discard me at will for Makoto? A suffocating pressure rushed straight at her. Willow wanted to keep defending herself but had no idea how to start. Anna ignored Willow and gave Makoto a meaningful look. Keep talking. This time, Makoto didn't bother pretending he wanted to die. Without needing the police officers to hold him up, he climbed down from the platform by himself. He finally understood, before Anna, Willow was nothing but a complete loser. And given what she had done before, even if he didn't kick her while she was down, Anna would never spare her this time. Since that was the case, he might as well let her have her final bit of value. Actually, I've known for a long time that Willow was with George, and back then, Willow was the one who chased him first. At that time, Willow didn't even like George. She just wanted to steal the guy Anna liked, and she even used Anna's deceased mother to pressure her on purpose. I took a deep breath, even though Anna had already told me all of this last night. Hearing it again still made my chest tighten. Willow snapped back to her senses and shouted, Shut up, Makoto. Do you have a death wish? She didn't know how much George already knew. She didn't know whether she still had a chance to win him back, but at the very least, she knew, if Makoto kept talking, she would truly lose George forever, for all eternity. Anna narrowed her eyes and waved her hand. Before Willow could rush forward to stop Makoto, she was pinned to the ground, screaming in despair. Meanwhile, the live stream continued. This farce quickly attracted massive attention from netizens. The live stream screen was almost entirely filled with bullet comments. Oh my god, this is shameless. From what Makoto is saying, Willow stole the guy Anna secretly liked, yet didn't cherish him at all. After driving Anna away, she immediately lost interest in George, treating him hot and cold, refusing to make their relationship public. George even thought he wasn't good enough and poured his heart out to her. So she was already entangled with Makoto at that time, but she still couldn't give up George's devoted care. Was he just her free babysitter? And she has the nerve to argue it was just a fake marriage. If she really wanted to help Makoto solve his crisis, with her status she had 100 ways to do it, yet she deliberately chose the one that would hurt George the most. In the end, she just thought George couldn't leave her, so she could hurt him however she pleased, and while hurting him, she also got to enjoy stomping Anna under her feet. Because hurting George was the same as stabbing Anna straight in the heart. Chapter 23. As Makoto exposed Willow's past actions to the public, the internet instantly erupted. Accusations against Willow came one after another. And my name was finally completely cleared. Willow's face turned ashen. She had already given up struggling, only muttering to herself, No, it's not like that. When my chest tightened with bitterness, grieving for the past version of myself. Suddenly, Anna held my hand and said, I'm sorry, I came back too late. No. I shouldn't have left in the first place. Otherwise, you wouldn't have suffered so much. I shook my head and let out a long breath. It's all in the past now. Anna wasn't to blame. Back then, she left only because she believed Willow and I were together. At first, she even threw herself into work to numb the pain, refusing to pay attention to us anymore. By the time she sensed something was wrong, my entire heart was already devoted to Willow. Until this time, I had finally reached my limit, and saw Willow's true nature, the hurt Willow caused me. I will never forgive, but I won't torment myself because of it. I won't live in pain. Everything in the past, just let it go. Anna's heart ached even more. Would crying make you feel better? You can borrow my shoulder. I smiled and shook my head. Borrow. Isn't that word a little too distant? Did you forget? You're my wife now. The best way to forget a terrible relationship is to start a new one. I wasn't sure yet if Anna was the right person, but I didn't mind going with the flow and giving us both a chance. Anna's eyes lit up, her tone a bit trembling. George, are you saying? Her heart was still uneasy. She feared George would blame her for not being brave enough back then, for returning too late, and feared she hadn't done enough to earn his full trust. Love always comes with a sense of guilt, I said softly. Don't misunderstand. I was just joking a little. But didn't we agree to start by getting to know each other? Anna took a deep breath and nodded seriously. Yes, I'm willing to spend my whole life getting to know you. After Makoto spilled everything like beans from a bamboo tube, Anna waved her hand. End the live stream. You can go with the police now. Makoto brightened at first, but then quickly realized something. Why? Didn't you say you'd let me go? Anna cast him a cold glance. I only promise that the brands and investors won't hold you accountable. But the mistakes you committed yourself, you have to bear those consequences. Surely you haven't forgotten everything you've done, right? Do you need me to remind you? Tax evasion, defamation, even inciting fans to cyberbully a rival until they were driven to attempt suicide. And that didn't even include the illegal things he did before he became famous. Trash like him couldn't withstand any investigation. Makoto panicked again. No, please. President Sue, I'm begging you. Spare me. I can kneel to you. I'll do anything. Seeing Anna unmoved, he turned his gaze toward Willow, who was collapsed on the ground. Willow, save me. Stop pretending to be dead. You were involved in the things I did. You handled the aftermath for me so many times. I don't want to go to jail. Hurry up and save me. You useless waste. Didn't you promise to protect me for life? Did you forget you still owe me a life? At those words, Anna raised a brow and said, Oh right, I almost forgot. The incident years ago when Willow was nearly assaulted in that alley. I've already had it fully investigated. Witnesses and evidence, everything is clear. Makoto, why don't you repeat what you just said? Chapter 24. With just one sentence, both Makoto and Willow's expressions changed instantly. Makoto trembled all over, his lips turning pale as if he wanted to explain something. But Willow Lu fixed him with a cold, piercing stare. Shut up. The next moment, Anna unlocked her phone and played a blurry video. Are you sure you can handle that little princess from the Lu family? With the Lu family's power, if we get caught, we're done for. We'll probably rot in prison for life. In the video, a young, reckless Makoto, hair dyed blonde, a cigarette dangling from his mouth, spoke with smug arrogance. Relax. I've checked everything thoroughly. Her mom just died. She's emotionally fragile and desperate for affection. As long as we act this scene well, once I latch onto this walking money tree, I'll take the brothers to live the good life. Tonight it is. Then, you all wait in the alley behind the school. In that instant, it felt as if all the blood in Willow's body froze. So, you were lying to me from the beginning. The reason she once saw Makoto as her knight in shining armor, no matter what wrongs he committed, she'd protect him at all costs. The biggest reason was that shortly after her mother passed away, Willow had been drowning in grief, barely alive. When a group of thugs cornered her, she remembered every detail with painful clarity. That night, in that very alley behind the school, several thugs rushed toward her, and she almost, fortunately, at the most critical moment, Makoto appeared like a mythical savior descending from the heavens and rescued her. Back then, rebellious and vulnerable, Willow quickly got entangled with Makoto. In her eyes, the hypocritical concern of her family couldn't compare to the warmth Makoto gave her. The more heartbroken her father became, the more satisfaction she felt, like revenge. But now, Anna was telling her that this so-called hero saving the damsel, which she considered the only salvation in her life, was just a staged act. From beginning to end, Makoto had played her like a fool. Why? Why did you lie to me? Willow struggled to get up, eyes filled with fury, and lunged toward Makoto. Makoto stammered, panicking. No, it's a misunderstanding. Willow, listen to me. I can explain. He never expected that although he had deliberately chosen an alley with no surveillance, his group of low-life friends had still left evidence beforehand. At this moment, Willow could no longer hear a single word of Makoto's excuses. She went completely wild, pouncing on him and grabbing his throat. Makoto, you deserve to die. I always saw you as the most important person in my life. I even hurt George for you. Why? Why did you lie to me? You're going to pay for what you did. I'll make sure you never rise again. The police reacted quickly and struggled to restrain Willow. Miss Lu, calm down. You'll kill someone like this. Willow gritted her teeth, eyes bloodshot, and roared, then let him die. Why didn't he just jump earlier? If Makoto had jumped just now, wouldn't all this trouble have been avoided? Seeing the murderous look in Willow's eyes, Makoto shuddered violently. After finally breaking free from Willow with the help of the officers, he knew things were already beyond repair. He completely gave up all pretense. Why? I should be asking you, you crazy woman, why didn't you just let me conquer you like you were supposed to? I put on that whole performance just to save myself decades of hard work. What's wrong with that? Every man for himself, if not, heaven and earth will destroy you. To keep playing along with you, I doted on you every damn day, treated you better than my own mother, and you only saw me as a friend. Do you really think I need you as a friend? Don't think I didn't notice. You hid it well, sure, but deep down, you've never respected me. When Anna forcefully dragged you away that year, I already accepted I was unlucky. Figured everything I invested was for nothing, but I didn't expect you to be pathetic enough to come back to me. Chapter 25. The more Makoto spoke, the more exhilarated he became, especially when he saw Willow's expression twisting further and further. He almost burst out laughing. Tell me, aren't you just pathetic? Back then, you had already snatched George away from Anna, so why did you come back to me? Don't give me that crap about how I mattered to you. Someone as cold, heartless, and selfish as you, would you really care about that? I don't know whether Anna marrying George embarrassed you, but when you came looking for me, you were absolutely using me to humiliate and provoke George. Just admit your vile intentions. Sure, Anna is a mountain you could never surpass, but the man she loved, you could trample him at will, toy with him in the palm of your hand. You enjoyed that feeling, didn't you? Willow shook her head frantically. No, I didn't. Don't talk nonsense. Makoto let out a mocking laugh. Can you be any more fake? Tell me, when was it ever not you taking me to provoke him? Watching him hurt for you, suffer for you, panic over you. But the funniest part, you always thought you were above me. You never let me touch you. Deep down you always looked down on me, just treating me as a tool to provoke George. This time, I even thought I might as well make the best of it and become the Liu family's son-in-law. Even if it was a fake marriage, I'd get half your assets someday. Unfortunately for you, you screwed up. Ha ha ha. George is heartbroken beyond repair this time. He doesn't want you anymore. At that moment, Willow completely lost control. No, it's not like that. I love George. He's the first man I've ever loved in my life, and the one I love the most. I really wanted to marry him, to build a home with him. Makoto rolled his eyes dramatically. Do you even believe the garbage you just said? Willow turned her gaze to me. Desperate. George, you believe me, don't you? I admit it, when I approached you at first, my intentions weren't pure, but later. I truly fell in love with you. I wanted a home with you. That house, I bought it long ago. I was waiting for the right time to give it to you. But you know this, I'm very insecure. That's why I kept testing you. I was afraid you'd leave me. I frowned deeply and shook my head. Does saying any of this now matter? Maybe Willow really did love me. Back when we were passionately in love, the affection in her eyes, her attachment to me, those weren't fake, but that love was tainted by too many impurities. Her so-called tests might have been born from insecurity. She needed to confirm, again and again, that no matter what she did, I wouldn't leave her, even if she showed her ugliest, darkest side. I was supposed to tolerate her, but did she ever think that every one of those tests was a knife driven straight into my heart? I'm human too. I get hurt, and when I'm wounded so deeply I'm barely holding together. Even the strongest love gets worn away. If her love had any sincerity in it, why would she hurt the person she claimed to love? Willow looked defeated, her voice sinking. So, I really have no chance anymore. I didn't give her another glance. I took Anna's arm and turned away. Let's go. This farce is over. That painful, shameful chapter of my life finally came to an end. Anna gripped my hand tightly. Look forward. I'll walk with you, all the way. Chapter 26. After that day, I never saw Makoto or Willow again. There was no need to say much about Makoto. He received the punishment he deserved for the crimes he had committed and ended up behind bars. And Willow, on one hand, perhaps she felt too ashamed to face me again. On the other hand, Anna now protected me as if she were guarding a precious treasure she finally got back. She cut off nearly all opportunities for Willow to see me. Aside from work, she was by my side nearly the entire day. I couldn't help feeling both amused and helpless. I once wished for a partner who would spend more time with me outside of work. Someone with fewer social engagements, but I never got that wish. Yet now, Anna's enthusiasm was almost overwhelming. But I had to admit, being with Anna was incredibly comfortable and soothing. Even if we did nothing, just sat side by side reading our own favorite books, quietly feeling the flow of time, there was a warmth and contentment in my heart. By the way, a few days ago, someone asked me to pass something on to you, the rental apartment you used to live in. One afternoon more than a month later, Anna suddenly said that. I froze for a moment. No need. If she doesn't want it back, then just sell it. Donate the money to someone who needs it. When Anna said that earlier sentence, She appeared casual, but the hint of nervousness in her eyes didn't escape my notice. Hearing my response, she clearly let out a breath of relief, and her tone became much lighter. "Oh, I've already sold it. I'll transfer the money to a charity later. And one more thing, I've shifted the center of my business back to the country. When are you coming to work at my company?" She had brought this up several times already. Although she insisted it was because she valued my professional abilities, I couldn't help but suspect she also wanted to create more time for us to be together. Unlike Willow, who avoided suspicion at all costs and refused to make our relationship public, I had visited Sue Corporation, and nearly every staff member greeted me warmly. Anna didn't care about their curious looks at all. She would hold my arm affectionately and introduce me to everyone as her husband. In a little while, Anna then reminded me, pretending it was casual, "Your entire project team, I've already recruited them into Sue Corporation. They're very satisfied with the new terms. Of course, if you don't want to work yet, you can continue resting." I shook my head with a smile. "What? You're worried the Lou Corporation will invite me back?" Willow, trying to make up for what she had done, gave me full compensation, released all project bonuses, and the company executives even improved my salary package and personally invited me back. Anna awkwardly said, "No, I just wanted to remind you." I interrupted her. "Did you forget? In a few days, we're going back to my hometown to hold the wedding banquet. After we return, I'll join Sue Corporation. A lover might betray you, but work will not." I never intended to leave the workplace and let myself be discarded by time. Since Sue Corporation offered great terms and a more relaxed working environment, I naturally had no reason to refuse. When we returned to my hometown to hold the wedding banquet, I kept feeling as if a pair of eyes were watching me from the shadows. But when I looked around, I found nothing. Until the ceremony began. According to local customs, a child suddenly came over and handed me a gift box. "Uncle, a very pretty lady asked me to give you this wedding gift." I blinked in surprise and opened the box. Inside was a pair of exquisite diamond wedding rings. "It's her." Chapter 27. I still remembered this pair of wedding rings clearly. They were the ones I had accidentally spotted while shopping with Willow back then, the pair I liked the most. At that time, I was full of hope, imagining the day Willow and I would step into marriage. But Willow showed clear impatience, complaining that the rings weren't high-end enough and telling me not to be so petty. She even warned me that it wasn't the right time to get married. And now she sent me these rings. Was this supposed to be compensation? Anna also saw the rings. "The design is beautiful. Do you want to switch to these?" I shook my head, raising my hand to show the wedding band on my ring finger. "I already have one that suits me better. I should have understood this long ago." A ring's value wasn't important. What mattered was whether it was right. Whatever Willow intended by sending these rings, it was far too late. Meanwhile, in a distant corner, a beautifully dressed Willow still didn't have the courage to appear before George. "George, I really did love you. This pair of rings. I should have given them to you long ago. What I owe you, how am I supposed to repay it?" Later on, I heard that Willow voluntarily requested to be transferred overseas to manage the Liu family's international business. Once she left, she remained abroad for many years, almost as if she had vanished. But every year on my birthday, a gift from overseas would arrive at the Sue household right on time. Each one was something I once wished for most on my birthday, yet had never received back then. "Daddy, your birthday present is here again. Who keeps sending these? Can I see it?" My well-behaved daughter held up the gift box, face full of curiosity. I subconsciously glanced at Anna. "You'll have to ask your mom." After becoming a mother, Anna no longer got jealous as easily. She could even face Willow's gifts calmly. But I still insisted on giving every gift to Anna to handle. Those things I had once desperately wanted were no longer things I needed. Anna brushed back her hair, took the gift box, and casually prepared to open it. "Just outdated little things. If you want it, you can play with it." I couldn't help teasing her. "What, you're not jealous this time?" Anna lifted her chin proudly. "We've been married for 7 years. Our daughter is already 5. What's there to be jealous about?" "What, do you think someone could still steal you away?" I felt a little dazed. Yes, it had already been 7 years. Back then, Willow went to great lengths to win 7 years from me. Yet the two of us ended in such a miserable way. The same 7 years, now with Anna. Our feelings only grew deeper. Our marriage harmonious. Our family complete. Love or lack of love, its ending is destined to be different. Anna raised a brow. "It's been so long. She should have let go by now." "Right. I heard she's coming back soon." After all, Willow was her niece, although Anna hated everything Willow did back then. Since Willow had the sense to leave for overseas voluntarily and never disturb our happiness. As an elder, Anna never made things difficult for her. Sometimes, Anna even blamed herself. If she had guided Willow more gently back then, would things have turned out differently? I shook my head. Everyone has their own path to walk. The only people I need to care for and take responsibility for are you and our daughter. The past drifted away like the wind. I focused only on the happiness in front of me. But what I never expected was, the next time I heard news about Willow, it would be her tragedy. Willow did return to the country shortly after, but for unknown reasons. She became involved with Makoto again, who had only recently been released from prison. No one knew what happened between them. They only knew that a car accident occurred. Willow's car lost control and plunged into the river, killing them both. George, everything I owed you, I've paid back. I have also paid for the mistakes I made. If there is a next life, will I have another chance? At Willow's funeral, a gust of wind swept by, and I seemed to hear a faint whisper in my ear. But soon, I shook my head and dismissed all thoughts. She was gone, and I still had my own road to walk. A snowfall covered Willow's tombstone in white. I took my wife's and daughter's hands, walking away through the snow, leaving footprints that stretched forward, with no trace of the path behind. For the rest of my life, there would only be Anna,